Hello YouTube and welcome to another video with me over the line. At the moment we are at Hockenheim National Circuit with the Group 5 cars. We're going to go around the circuit and show you your braking points and turning references to help you get closer to the front of that grid come next Sunday when we take this vehicle around at Checker Flag Endurance. As usual, we're going to go in the cockpit and go slow motion to give you an in-depth description of what you need to do, and then next time round we'll go normal pace so you guys get an idea of how it feels. So switching to the interior, coming up to turn 1 now as we hit 4th gear, and you want to start braking around here. Here's your braking reference. It's up. Don't know if it's alongside. It's pretty much when you go adjacent with the 100-meter board there, but it's a much easier way to do it is use the reference as the blue curbing, braking just before you reach them from 4th gear down into 3rd. Let the car just do its own thing past this point here. You want to be off the brakes at this point. Maybe a bit of trail braking if you're carrying a bit too much speed, but what you want to avoid is the orange curb on the inside of this corner. So hugging the corner as much as possible, avoid that orange curbing, otherwise it will unbalance the car, and just let the car just run wide. You can start to accelerate around here. The car's starting to straighten up and you need that bit more turning from the rear, so what better way to do that than to put a bit of power down. You can use the curbing on the left hand side. As you can see, we're going to hit that. You can hit it fairly aggressively. Any more than this though and it will unbalance the car for 1, and 2 invalidate your lap, so you have to be careful of that. But that is turn 1. Coming up to turn 2, it's going to be a 180 turn to the right. Braking point is just before the 100-meter board on the left-hand side there. Another reference point to use, you could use the orange, which is on the left-hand side. So pretty much as soon as that disappears, or just before, you can start applying your brake. Braking down from 4th gear down to 2nd once again, staying on the left-hand side of the track, and as before with turn 1, try and hug that blue apex while avoiding the orange one, as it will unsettle the car. Just let the car decelerate at this point, keep decelerating, and you want to stay around mid-track for the next corner. And this is where you start to accelerate. Go over to the right hand side as much as you can, or stay mid at least, and let the car accelerate naturally out. Just bear in mind that you do have a lot of turbo lag. Make sure you manage that properly. As you can see with the steering wheel, there's a lot of management going on there, and you should be in 3rd gear or around that as you exit the corner. Depending on what car you're in, I think the BMW has a bit more turbo lag than the Nissan, so it may be worth going in 3rd gear before you even start to turn in on the straight. A very vital corner, as you will lose time down the straight if you do not do it correctly. And that brings us to sector 2 now. This is going to be a 180 double apex right-hander once again, and your braking point is around here, just before the cones on the left-hand side. That's probably your best bet as a reference point, and you want to be braking down from 4th gear down into 2nd. Watch the grass on the left-hand side here, because it does the cones are not in line with the circuit itself. And for this example, unfortunately, we do miss the apex, and that's because, as you can hear, we seized up our front right tyre. So just be mindful that it is easy to seize up the tyres on these cars. You haven't got ABS, they're very, very old. So just be careful of what you're doing. If you screw up here, you've got a lovely gravel trap directly ahead of you, and if you do carry too much speed, you've got this lovely barrier, which, let's face it, it's not going to give you a good day. If anything, it's just going to give you a bit of a headache and ruin your race. So you want to hug the inside line as much as you can. Ignore what we're doing because we're carrying too much speed because our tyre is seized, and just let the car naturally decelerate at this point. And you want to maintain that speed through the corner, because you want to be able to maximise potential on the exit of the next one. This is the most important part of this particular corner. Once again, stay off the orange curb, hug the blue and white stripe curbing, and accelerate out, staying to the left hand side. But that is really important to do, otherwise you'll have people diving up your inside for the next corner. For the Nissan, you're going to be in 3rd gear for a small moment now, right before going straight back into 2nd gear again, and that's for the left hand corner here. Avoid the orange once again. You can pretty much guess that those are bad news. And just let the car once again carry the speed through in second gear and gently accelerate and go over to the left hand side. Stay in second gear, or the gear you're currently in, and just lightly come off the throttle. No braking is required here unless it's to generate turning, and just slowly reapply the throttle once you're past the apex and manage that turbo lag, because it will try and kill you. As you can see, our wheel was dancing around a bit there, and that's because the car is trying to come around with all the rear power, or the power that's going to the rear wheels. Now into the last sector for Hockenheim National, you're going to be presented with the a right hand. It's probably the trickiest corner to master, in my personal opinion. You're going to be braking just before the 50-meter board at this point here. Good way to remember it, it's just as this closes. The left-hand side, the runoff area, closes up, and you just presented with a wall that's much closer. If you brake just before that, then that's a good reference point if you don't like using the meter boards. But if you do, then just before the 50-meter board, you want to brake in a straight line and go down to third. There's not a lot of braking that's required here. Unfortunately, I can't show you how much braking application you need, but it's pretty much just carrying enough speed through third gear to hug that inside line. And then once you're past that center point, you can start to accelerate out again. If you kind of get to this position here after finishing the corner, after carrying that speed through, that's roughly the right speed that you want to take. We probably could have had maybe a tenth faster by carrying a tiny bit more speed, but as a baseline and a guide, it's a good example. And straight over to the right hand side upon exiting this corner here, and then you're going to brake around now just before the curbing or the arm curb barrier changes on the right hand side. That's probably your best reference. Otherwise, it's just literally practice that will get you a feel of where you need to brake. Braking from third, you want to brake fairly heavily, and then you want to be off the brakes at this point. No braking anymore. Second gear, you've already changed down. Engine braking has now taken over. If the tyres are squealing and just on the verge of losing grip, then that's where you want to be, because the corner itself has cambered, so it's going to help you with that turn-in, even much so that it will try to spin you out. But you don't want to do that, because you want to get straight over to the right hand side, third gear as you come through this quick left-right corner, and just simply manage that throttle, maintain that speed. You don't want a lot more than what you're currently getting, and you want to start coming off the gas now. It will try and snap at you if you are not careful, and down change to second gear for the second to last corner. Hit that apex and let the car do its own thing. You don't want to carry a lot of speed here, just maintain, because you're setting yourself up for the last straight. And now again, a tiny bit of throttle just to maintain that speed again. You can be fairly aggressive on the curbing on the last corner, as you can see here, and accelerating now as you start to straighten up, and you can see the remain straight at the corner, and maintain that throttle because the turbo leg's going to try and kill you with the wheel going everywhere. And up change to third and to the finish. So that is a full in-depth description of how it works. Hopefully it was good enough for you guys, but now we're going to go normal speed to give you guys an idea of what it looks like. Here we go. Okay, that is a full lap of Hockenheim circuit complete. I hope you guys did enjoy. But that's it for me this time, and I hope you see you around for this Sunday. Thanks for watching. See you later.